Do you want to know the real secret to scaling a startup to a $100 million valuation? Well, here it is. It's not what you do, it's when you're doing it. My name is Arjun Mahadev, and I'm the founder and CEO of doola.com, a venture-backed tech startup here in New York City that's raised over $13 million of venture capital and is valued at $100 million. I'm going to share with you my rhythm blocking framework, which is exactly what I followed to scale Doola to this $100 million valuation without losing my sanity. Let's dive in. When I first started Doola and we hit our first ceiling in terms of growth, I was constantly overwhelmed. And this will probably resonate with you. I had back-to-back calendar calls all day. I felt like every day there wasn't enough time to actually work. If anything, it felt like the weekends, when there was no meetings, was the only time I could actually catch up on work. But then the week would start and then I'd fall right behind right away. And I felt overwhelmed. Our metrics were growing, but they were still pretty flat. And overall, I thought, I'm working so hard. Certain days up to 16 hours per day, but the metrics and the growth just wasn't following. So the turning point happened actually after I read this incredible book called Essentialism by Greg McKeown. And in this book, it hammered home the point that, and this is going to sound so stupidly obvious, less is more. Are you working on the most essential things? And the truth is, I wasn't. I was just shaking the tree, but not really focusing on the most important things. The other thing I did is I actually just studied some of the great entrepreneurs of our time and age, people who manage multiple businesses and still are able to do it somehow, like Jack Dorsey or Elon Musk. And here's the truth. I realized, holy crap, the problem was I was focused too much on what I'm doing versus when I'm doing it. And then I noticed from Essentialism and from looking at other founders, they were so intentional about the way that they actually designed their days and managed their schedules. They did it with intention, and that led to me developing this rhythm blocking framework. And this is exactly what I follow now to maintain sanity while having scaled Doola. Let me walk through each step of the rhythm blocking framework. Step one is creating your morning fortress. Seriously, think of it as a castle. Your mornings need to be sacred. Your mornings set the tone for your rest of your day. Your brain is sharpest in the morning as well. You don't have other people's tasks or priorities on your list. Your day is ideally planned from the night before. Mornings are so sacred. So tactically, the first thing is you have to create an untouchable morning routine. It's something that you want to do and you're going to stick with. So for me, I like waking up early, ideally at 5 a.m. I then work out from 5:30 to 6:30, and then I like to get to the office by 7 to 7:30. Then from 7:30 to 10:30, I have a block every single day for heads down work without distractions. That's my golden time. That's my untouchable morning fortress. This essentialism time, that's what I call it on my calendar, is when I can do my best work before the other world starts asking me to do work for them. Step two of the framework is implementing what I call availability levels. I used to think that, hey, if there was a call, just have calls throughout the entire day or have slots throughout the entire day for when to take those calls. But I realize, again, this is going to sound obvious, not all calls are equal. So what I do is I have level 1 calls and level 2 calls. I will only take level 1 calls during my essentialism time or in the morning when I'm freshest if it's a critical partnership or a critical customer call or a critical investor call or a critical team call. Otherwise, it's going to level 2 later in the day. And simply just drawing this split allows you to very clearly say, is this call level 1 or level 2? If it's level 2, it's happening later in the day. It's not going to take up my critical, holy, golden, sacred essentialism time. Ultimately, what implementing availability levels does is it ensures I'm working on the right thing at the right time. Highest impact, most high leverage things in the morning, everything else in the afternoon. Step 3 of the framework is creating weekly rhythms. And I like this too because before it felt like there was no structure to my week. There'd just be things happening every single day and there was no method behind the madness, if you will. So I zoomed out and I actually did this exercise where I took a blank calendar and created what I call a calendar map. And I mapped out what my ideal week looks like in terms of rhythms. So this is exactly it. Mondays, the main theme or main rhythm is the company all hands or the Roomba. This is when we have a full company-wide meeting and I'm able to share metrics from the previous week, highlights, get the entire team riled up, ready to go, excited for the week. Now also on Monday, I can tackle any high priority items. I have my execution block in the morning to start the week strong. The previous weekend, I've gone through and updated my to-do list, my priorities. I grade my objectives and key results. I know exactly what I need to do entering the week. On Tuesdays, we have our content recording days, just like this video. So every single week, there's a hold. We know coming into this day, we're going to create content. Why is content so important? It's a requirement for Doola. Because if you think about Doola as a whole, Our product is the star, but content's the movie where you put the star in. And content to me is the original software where you create once, you can replicate infinitely. It's how we're going to go meet customers, find colleagues, and then also find capital for the company. So it's a critical requirement. We do it every week. Every other week on Tuesdays, we also have a product power hour. So that allows us to align on what's coming out on the product side as well. Wednesdays are no meeting Wednesdays. No meetings whatsoever, no matter what comes up, unless it's a really critical call, like level 0, not even level 1. My Wednesdays are sacred and blocked, and this is because I was so sick and tired of going full weeks where I could only use the weekend to catch up on work. So now I have this full day midweek where I can actually get into flow and actually work in the business and work on the business. Thursdays are our weekly 3-hour marketing syncs. So we stole this from Steve Jobs at Apple, where Apple realized, hey, we have an incredible product, but in order to get that product to the world, we need to be world-class at marketing. So at Doola, we have a weekly 3-hour hold for our marketing team to meet, where we run through anything going live external, and we're able to review, share, get the entire team in sync. And then Fridays, I use this for my internal one-on-one day. Starts out with any weeklies I have. We have our leadership weekly, then I have all my one-on-ones on Friday. Now, I really like this day because it allows me to fully get into a mindset of manager mode for the entire day, where I have one-on-ones or team meetings all day, and that actually really easily allows me to unblock things or have conversations with multiple people throughout the day. My favorite part of doing that, though, is also on Fridays, the entire leadership team and everyone is aligned going into next week on what they need to do and what their priorities are. Even starting in the weekend, where I actually think, hey, the weekends are a way to get ahead, but you have full crystal clear alignment before you hit next week so you can hit the ground running on Monday. And finally, the fourth step of the framework is you need to protect your recovery time. So for me, my recovery time is actually at night when I'm sleeping and the weekends. Now look, I actually do like to work on the weekends because here's my simple math. If I can do 2 units of work per weekday, and then I add in the weekends, that's 4 extra units of work, which is a 40% increase versus 5 times 2 during the week. So I can just get more done. But I keep the weekends sacred unless it's a really special meeting with someone, ideally a partner or something. Otherwise, I keep them completely unblocked. And what that allows me to do is really work on the business. I can think strategically. I can zoom out a bit and work on things that can be really high leverage within the company. But I use those as free blocks, free times where I can get ahead of work. I can think strategically, I can brainstorm on something, I can do meetings if I'd like. I have those 2 full days every single week where I can utilize them. And here's the coolest thing. Sometimes, most often, my biggest breakthroughs or ideas come in that unstructured free time, which is why I think it's so important to intentionally bake that into your week. It could be 15 minutes in the morning meditating, could be a 15-minute walk at night, or a full day on the weekend. Sometimes when your brain just pauses, the atoms of thoughts can collide together to come up with a big bang of an idea. And that is how I use the rhythm blocking framework to run a $100 million startup without losing my sanity. And here's the thing. The key isn't always working more hours. It's designing your hours to work more for you. It's establishing these rhythms and you taking control of your weeks and your days. If you want more hacks like this or more frameworks for how I run Doola, please hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and follow the channel. I really hope you found value from this video, and I'm putting out content like this regularly every single week. Also, if you yourself are scaling a business and implementing rhythm blocking frameworks like this, that's why my company Doola exists, so that we can take care of the unsexy back office, the formation, the bookkeeping, the taxes, so you can focus on what you do best while Doola handles the rest. Thank you so much again for watching. I hope you found value, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.